Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but if you call this car ugly, maybe the beholder is the one with problems. I'm Clifford Attia with CarGurus, and this is the 2019 Mercedes-Benz CLS Coupe. Yes, I know it's not really a coupe. Since the 2005 model year, the CLS has slotted in between the more traditional E and S-Class sedans. A lot has changed for 2019. New hybrid powertrains, a dramatic interior, and even more sophisticated technology. But a lot hasn't changed. It's just beautiful. All right, let's take a drive. This is the reason you buy a CLS, the roofline. Lots of other sedans have since copied it, but the CLS is an original. It's curvy and swoopy in ways a sedan shouldn't be, with thin window openings and frameless glass for all four doors. The tail tapers like a speedboat. The flat taillights and simple exhaust tips are muted compared to the front, which manages to look aggressive and yet soft at the same time. Mercedes' design is rarely as bold as it is here, with these slanted headlights and this trapezoidal grille. There are very few creases and edges along the car's body. With its long, low stance, the CLS rolls by with a quiet confidence. It's more attractive and more expensive than those ordinary sedans and crossovers in the parking lot. But there's one thing that sticks out, in a bad way, this growth of some sort hanging off the rear bumper. Bumpers in the US have to meet a 2.5 mile/hour impact requirement in which the car's body won't sustain any damage at that speed. They don't have that requirement over in Europe. So over there, the CLS has a rear bumper that's flush and smooth with the body. But on this side of the Atlantic, Mercedes tacked on these pointy extensions. Unlike the rest of the car, this is an afterthought. Mercedes was clearly thinking hard about the wheels and tires because they're nearly as large as those on a two-door sports car. These are the same size as what you'll find in the Jaguar F-Type, and like that car, they're wider in the rear than they are in the front. We have 19-inch summer Goodyears on our CLS that produce a lot of grip. Most models, however, will come with all seasons. Does it get any better than this? Having driven Bentleys and Rolls-Royces, I can say no, not really. The CLS interior is based on the E-Class coupe, and it's flat out gorgeous inside here. But if you order one, you gotta get this color scheme: macchiato beige and Titian red. Look at these details. This stitched dash with soft leather that flows around the air vents and doors. The white lines in the piano black lacquer. The rich textures and piping of the seats, the dashboard that's like a wave, curving in and out. The air vents are works of art. They're easy to swivel, and they open and close without a separate switch. They're backlit with ambient lighting. Raise the temperature on the driver's side, and these two vents glow red. Lower it on the passenger side, and they go blue. It'll even heat your arms and elbows. The door and central armrest gently heat with the seats. The lighting even extends to the speakers mounted on the headliner, and if you so choose, the car can cycle between 64 different colors automatically, like you're in a hot tub. There's a perfume canister on board that mists through the air vents, and on top of all that, there's a gym class. Mercedes calls it energizing comfort. When you activate it, a woman's voice directs you to exercise certain muscles while you're driving, and it even plays mood music.
Move your right shoulder far back in circles.
What if you just want to sit in the CLS like you would in, a normal car? The front is very roomy, although the slim glass openings do inhibit visibility compared to the E-Class. The rear is livable, and unlike the previous CLS, it seats 5 instead of 4. Thanks to this thin backrest and leg cutouts, I wouldn't mind sitting back here. I'm 5'11", but people of any height will have a tougher time ducking under the steep roof and getting past the small door opening. In that sense, the CLS really does feel like a coupe. Trunk space measures only 11.9 cubic feet, but it somehow manages to feel very usable. I fit 2 large duffel bags, a large carry-on, and a couple backpacks without any issue. The CLS 450 I'm driving is the base model. It replaces the CLS 550 that used to have that burly V8. Under the hood is an all-new inline 6-cylinder engine that eventually will replace the V6 engines across all the Mercedes lineup. This turbo 3-liter 6 has 362 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, connected to a 9-speed automatic and either rear or all-wheel drive. But that's not all. The CLS is a hybrid. Between the engine and the transmission is an electric motor generator connected to a 48-volt system run off a separate battery. Not only can it add an extra 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque to the engine's output, it replaces the alternator and the accessory belt drive. In theory, that means the engine is both more powerful and works less, plus it allows the car to coast with the engine off. In practice, the CLS 450 doesn't feel that much different than the E400 coupe we tested last year. Acceleration is just as strong, but like in the E-Class, it feels a little lazy unless the car is in sport mode. Fuel economy, that's about the same too. I average close to 30 miles to the gallon on a long highway drive from Maryland to Connecticut. Right now though, EPA estimates are not available because the car won't be on sale for another couple months. What about those driving modes? Our car has an adaptive air suspension, so when you're in comfort, the steering is light and the body almost floats over bumps. Switch to Sport or Sport Plus and the CLS will go hard. Really, it corners flat, brakes without any dive, and is eager to play. But if you really want extra performance, you'll need the upcoming AMG CLS 53 with a sportier suspension and up to 429 horsepower. As sporty as the CLS 450 can drive, it's happiest when you just cruise. And it'll do that. Our car has the intelligent drive system, which bundles every kind of automated driving feature you can imagine. Switch on the lane tracking and steering assist, set the cruise control speed, and the CLS will take care of the rest. Of course, not entirely. This is not a self-driving car, but in certain situations, the CLS can steer, brake, and even change lanes by itself. If you happen to change lanes and there's a car in your blind spot, it'll apply individual brakes to correct your course. It can spot pedestrians, detect if someone's about to rear-end you, park itself, and it can use the navigation to slow the car down before turns, exit ramps, and intersections. Now, it's not 100% accurate, but the CLS is so effortless to drive even without these features. It is, however, really useful on those long drives and in stop-and-go traffic. The CLS sure feels like a computer. Two 12.3-inch displays for the instrument panel and infotainment cluster span the entire dash. They're controlled by thumb pads on the steering wheel or by this touchpad and rotary controller. They're not touchscreens, but they're very high resolution. You can switch through multiple designs and layouts to fit your needs. For example, you can replace the tachometer with a map, or you can split the map with the audio controls on the other screen. It's not always easy, and sometimes it's cumbersome to get through 3 or 4 sub-menus just to change one setting. You'll need to practice with this system in your driveway, but everything is here. Navigation with live traffic, an onboard owner's manual, and an insanely good Burmester stereo. Of course, nearly everything is an option. Our car came with almost 30 grand worth of those options, like the driver assistance package for $2,250 and the Burmester stereo for $5,400. Mercedes hasn't yet announced a base price, but we estimate our car is roughly $100,000. The starting price should be just about $75,000, which is roughly what it costs for a 2018 model. That's a lot, and it's why you don't see as many CLS models on the road as E-Classes. But there's not much competition. Next to the BMW 6 Series Grand Coupe and Audi A7, the Mercedes CLS offers a lot of car and style. The 2019 Mercedes-Benz CLS is a gorgeous car that offers every possible luxury you can imagine, and it's just as impressive to drive as it is to look at. The CLS doesn't come cheap, but if you're committed to spending this kind of money, you won't be disappointed. But what do you think? Would you consider a CLS over a 6 Series or an A7? For full details, read my review on CarGurus.com, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can watch more reviews like this, like the 2018 Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.